Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Sports. And the return of the URC this past weekend presented some absolutely brilliant clashes, very, very interesting, and lots of drama. The Stormers, for example, having a try chalked off after the final hooter to give Sharks an eventual winner of the Stormers. It's a side they have struggled to beat in recent years, and the Sharks slowly but surely starting to get their season back on track. Also, very impressive victory for the Bulls on the road. Before we look at some of the results as well as where the table is as we head into a 2-week URC break for some EPCR action, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Everything started on Friday night with a very solid victory by the Glasgow Warriors over Scarlets. In terms of the results, a performance maybe not quite as good as what Glasgow Warriors really sort of expect against a team like the Scarlets, who, to be fair, have actually quite a good season and are sort of brink on that sort of top 8. But Glasgow Warriors, being the current sort of defending champions, would be looking at Scarlets as a game where they'd like to, especially at home, get a bonus point win. They didn't manage to do that, but again, it's about picking up victories, at this time. And even if you don't play particularly well, which I don't think Glasgow Warriors really did, they managed to get the victory. What was also very close on Friday was Ulster putting up a real fight at the Kingspan Stadium against Leinster. Obviously, a lot of the Irish players missing, given the fact that they were playing against Australia this past weekend, and there was always going to be a much weaker Leinster side than expected. And in that sense, there was a big opportunity for Ulster to try and get a result. They couldn't quite do it in the end, and they probably look at that as potentially, opportunity gone begging, because there's very few times where you can really try and beat Leinster, and having a home fixture against them with a majority of their sort of star players away is one of those times. So, yeah, I mean, they got a point off it at the end of the day, which in a different week they might not be able to, but they would have looked for a lot more than just that. Then on the Saturday, as I said, late drama. Monty Ebock actually went over and scored a try in the 73rd minute, which was then chalked off due to a knock-on. The Stormers just not quite hitting their straps this year so far. And the Sharks, well, they continue even now and again to threaten to be a top side. And it was a stacked side on Saturday. We saw the star power that they have. Big sort of news for a lot of the Bok fans was the likes of Asash Famigomazulu making his return from injury, for example. We saw Siakli starting at 8, different sort of position, different kind of role. Andre Esterhuizen played very nicely for the Sharks. Aprile Fassi played very nicely as well. So a lot of the Springbok players putting their hands up in what was a really, really tight encounter. Again, I think you look at that Sharks side on paper, should be, wrapping up this game. They should not have ever been in a situation where they potentially could have lost right towards the end, and they've got to get consistently better if they're going to challenge for this trophy, which they should be doing. They are a good enough side on paper to be challenging for the URC. They've just got to make sure they start really improving. We then saw Cardiff beating the Dragons in a Welsh Interpro before the Bulls. Very impressive victory for them to go overseas and to beat Connacht in Ireland. Very, very good work there from Jake White. Be very chuffed with his Bulls side, and they're currently sitting in 3rd place. The top-ranked South African side, Kane Moody, on the score sheet, for example. Peter Gumede, red card. Got to look at that and think, how stupid. A player like him who is on the Bok radar, for example, and it's just a waste for somebody who's so talented, has been having such a good opportunity. The last year, we kind of sort of turned his career around with the Bulls, and all of a sudden, a moment where he's not getting eye gouging. I'm very interested to see what his band could be, because it doesn't look good at all. And he's going to start getting a bad reputation. And he hasn't had as many opportunities with the Bulls recently as he would have liked to. He was actually even released from the Bulls during the Bulls squad during the URC playoffs, where he could actually go and be involved in the box camp. He was playing Curry Cup. It was all very odd. And then he gets an opportunity, and he really, really wasted, to be brutally honest. So, with frustrating times for him and worrying times, really, for a player who has got so much potential and is just not quite living up to it at the moment. The big blowout winner of the weekend was Edinburgh, beating Benton 50 points to 33 in a very, very high-scoring affair. Very entertaining game. And Benton need to start picking up better results here. They've got to start hitting their straps. They're a good side, and I think a side that should be in the top 8, but not quite there at the moment. Edinburgh, after a really, really bad start this season, are starting to come right. The Lions, then a little bit sloppy, if you're going to be brutally honest, against Munster. A game which I think we could have won. and right towards the end had opportunities. And if you'd gone over there for potential draw, I think there would have been a decent result. They still remain in the top 8 to the Lions, and they've been on a couple of South Africa derbies after those EPCR clashes to try and get their season back on track. And a very, very impressive victory for Zebra as they beat Ospreys. Yeah, it is a sort of bottom of the table type of clash, but good to see Zebra being able to pitch up for these kind of games and get results, which previously they often have struggled. So if we look at the table at the moment, it is currently being topped by Leinster, who are 7 from 7, the only team to have not lost a game just yet. Glasgow Warriors in second place, 27 points. Bulls over there, remembering that all South African sides have a game in hand. So, for example, if the Lions were to win that game in hand with a bonus point, they could actually go up to about third, or in the top 4 at least. Similarly, if the Bulls were to win that game in hand, they could go up to second place. The Sharks haven't managed to find some more gaps and to close the gap down between the Lions. They are currently now tied with them. They are behind on points difference. The Stormers, who've had a very poor start to the season, continue to sort of lull down well outside the top 8. They're currently sitting 6 points behind. 7 points behind. Connacht currently sit with 18 points. Just the 2 wins for the Stormers so far this season. John Dobson under a lot of pressure. Not entirely sure how they're going to manage to get to that season turnaround. But in terms of what we have to look forward to in December, lots of very different games throughout December and different days. So sort of half rounds sometimes as well. So you've got Ulster versus Munster. That all starts with a full weekend over here. But some of these games will play in between sort of Christmas and Boxing Day and the likes. There's also, as I mentioned, the South African derby games that are happening. So it's a bit of a strange fixture list when it comes to December. But obviously we'll be covering it all as well, so you don't need to worry too much about that. We'll keep you updated with exactly what's happening throughout December. Let me know what you thought about this weekend's results down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.